Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Stitchfield tonight. Before we dig in tonight, I want to offer a salute and a special thanks to all our veterans out there on this Veterans Day. To all of you who put a flag on your shoulder, fully willing to die for this country, I want all of you to know I am absolutely in awe of every single one of you. Your willingness to potentially sacrifice your life to keep us safe, that volunteer spirit, I promise you, is what makes our armed services the greatest fighting force the world has ever seen. So again, a very big thank you to all our veterans out there. Folks, when it comes to election security and the integrity of the vote, you are being lied to. The biggest lie of all is that somehow our state's voting systems are not connected to the internet. We hear them say this all the time. Now, that may be true for the individual machines. It may not be, by the way, but it is certainly not true for all of the state and county databases. In fact, it's an absolute myth that it's not connected to the internet. Your votes, in many cases, are being stored on a server in Frankfurt, Germany. Cybersecurity investigators tell me they can prove the nation's largest provider of election software, a system used in 28 states, not only uses servers in Germany, but it's also possibly infected by a malware called Qsnatch. Investigators at Allied Security Operations based in Dallas tell me that they have found malware embedded in the software source code, could be responsible for everything we're seeing right now. If that's true, even the nation's cybersecurity agency, CISA, warns Qsnatch would allow hackers to find everything they would need to change votes in election databases across the country. Allied's co-founder, Russ Ramsland, told me he is not surprised he found Qsnatch with the system as vulnerable as it is. He told this to podcast America Can We Talk?
We can even see malware sitting there collecting all the credentials of all the county workers everywhere who are submitting information up, which means you can now go back into the county and change votes there too.
Well, could this be what's responsible for all the malicious things we're seeing out there during this election? Maybe. He says because the voter results travel across a wide internet spectrum, from the county to the state, from the county to the election management companies, from there to the Associated Press, and ultimately the media, hackers, he says, can actually make changes to votes in the cloud and backload those changes into county databases. He also says he has proof that it's happening. They believe this cybersecurity breach of our nation's election system is responsible for the statistically impossibility of what happened to Donald Trump on election night. Think about it. 5 big swing states, all with Democrat governors, and suddenly the vote counting stops in all 5 states at the very same time. 3 hours later, the systems are fired back up. Joe Biden receives hundreds of thousands of votes. Not one goes to Donald Trump. Just look at Michigan. When the system came back online early Wednesday morning, 138,339 ballots, representing just about 3% of the turnout in Michigan, all go to Joe Biden. You can see Donald Trump's numbers do not change. He did not receive a single vote. This oddity in 5 states changed everything. Look at Wisconsin as well. It too saw a massive vote jump for Joe Biden. So we compared the registered voters in Wisconsin to the actual voters. Of the 3.6 million registered to vote in Wisconsin, 3.3 million actually did. That is a whopping 90% participation rate. 90%. Again, in America, that's unheard of when we saw a record-setting 66% voter turnout nationwide last week. Did all of those people in Wisconsin actually cast their own vote, or were their votes manipulated? It is certainly a valid question and worth investigating, but the Democrats are doing everything they can to block transparency and inspection.
We then began to look and we realized how easy it is to change votes. The software is so bad you can easily change the audit trail so that later you cannot even forensically go back and find out the votes that were changed.
Did you hear what he just said? Allied Security, a company that has done election integrity work for the state of Kentucky, believes the nation's election system is so vulnerable, even the voter audit trail can be manipulated.
In our investigation, we found ways to change your votes there at the voting place. We found ways to change the tabulation software itself. I'm going to show you an example of that in Kentucky in a minute. We found ways to change the database itself. We found ways to go into both of these and change the software that they have that again gets loaded into the equipment here, that goes to the equipment here.
Why is the media not talking about this? I want you to watch what happens in this video from 2019, where the Kentucky governor's race gets updated in real time on the CNN screen. Watch this.
This is some amazing video that you're seeing from CNN.
Is there that CNN cut away from the update immediately when the Democrat, Andy Beshear, has 673,948 votes to Matt Bevin's 235,000 votes. Now watch when we back up the video and freeze the frame. Beshear goes to 674,508 votes, and Matt Bevin loses 560 votes, taken away from him. Now, if that happened in 2019, you better believe that it can happen today. In fact, last night on this program, we told you about Donald Trump losing a total of 10,000 votes from 3 Pennsylvania counties at the exact same moment. Suspicious, to say the least. So the Democrats wanted hard evidence of election fraud. I believe this is at least credible evidence. At the very least, it's enough evidence to launch an investigation. One state that is seeing similar voting irregularities is Georgia. So after the Trump campaign demanded a recount by hand of all ballots cast in Georgia this morning, the Republican Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, announced that he will get that hand recount done. To discuss this, I want to welcome co-founder of the group Voters Organized for Trusted Election Results in Georgia, Garland Favorito.